head baseball coach here in 2005, and that was Tommy's senior year. I'd like to start by saying what Coach said about a Hall of Famer, somebody who has individual achievements, but also helps others around him rise up and play better. That's exactly what Tommy did. To me, that's the definition of a Hall of Fame. I'll start with Tommy's Major League debut against the New York Mets on September 9th, Washington, D.C. He was there as a pitcher, but the first time he stepped into the plate, the first pitch he sees, he drills the ball in the right field bullpen for a 3-run home run. It's absolutely a miracle, unbelievable that it happened. I'll finish with that at the end. Tommy was born, raised right here in Saugus, son to Nancy and Tony Milone. Played baseball down at Weymouth Hart, like most kids that grew up here in this valley. Big thing about Tommy is he was never really a star, sometimes not even the best player on his team. But he always continued to get better and to work at it. Comes to Saugus, plays freshman baseball on the freshman team, begins to excel, and begins kind of to be the guy in his group, his class of 2005. Sophomore year, makes the varsity team, becomes an all-leaguer. Junior year, becomes an all-CIF and all-leaguer. And then his senior year comes, and quite frankly, gets smacked in the face with probably absolutely what he did not want to happen. His head coach that he had for 3 years, and they created a great relationship. He ended up taking a job over at West Ranch and started a baseball program there. So here's Tommy, whose goal, his dream in life was to get to college, play college baseball, and now he's stuck really without any scholarship offers and a brand new coach and a brand new pitching coach. Would have been real easy for a kid at that time to just say, this is enough, I've given it my all, let's just go out there, kind of have fun and see what happens. But instead, him and 14 other seniors come together and have what you could say is the greatest season Saugus baseball's ever had. We ended up having an 18-game winning streak that year, led by Tommy. Ends up having an ERA of around 1 and hits about 500 with 8 home runs. But it's not what Tommy did individually. It's what he did to the others around him and how he brought those other 14 seniors and the 5 juniors or 6 juniors that were on that team come together and really have a wonderful season. I'll kind of go from here with some stories about Tommy. I think it starts with his father on our field day. We're fixing something in the dugout. Something falls, cracks Tony right in the face, and busts his nose completely open. Now, I had known Tommy freshman, sophomore, junior year because we all practiced together. All 3 levels would practice together, and I was a JV head coach at the time. So I had known Tommy, but senior year when that happened to his father, I was kind of giggling, going, I'm going to like this kid, because the dad shook it off, stayed there, blood all over his face, and continued to work. Then, summer game, El Camino. Back in these days, 05, 04, Chatsworth, El Camino, they were the top. They were the top 2 programs. We go into El Camino on a Saturday afternoon. There's a scout down the third baseline. I'm coaching third. And he says, what can you tell me about Milone, Coach? What do you want to know? He's a fantastic baseball player, a wonderful kid, great work ethic. Guy says, I don't think he's big enough to be a pitcher. He's not powerful enough to be a pitcher. I said, all right, idiot. Guy leaves. Tommy's first at bat, he hits a ball into the trees, 400 some feet away. Next at bat, he hits the ball over the trees. And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, he doesn't get a chance to see Tommy throw. Of course, he looks at Tommy and says he's not big enough, which Tommy's probably heard his whole life. Then we come to our first game in league. We play Hart. They're ranked #1, not in our little Valley Daily News poll. They are ranked #1 in LA Times, including all the Orange County teams. Hart had just beaten Chatsworth and El Camino in a tournament. And here they come, our first league game. Well, what's Tommy do? He goes out, throws 5 shutout innings, and hits 2 home runs. It was a big thing because on that team, they had scholarship players. And it was we would always get together in a room before games, and there'd be a few messages on the board. And it was kind of pointed out to everybody, hey, here's our guy here. We don't have any offers yet for him. There's that team over there. They think they're good stuff. Probably a couple other words, but they think they're, the big show. We have something to prove here. And obviously we did. Some other fun things. Coming home from the batting cage, seeing Tommy get pulled over and get a speeding ticket. Most of you don't know Tommy because he's not going to be somebody who's going to get in your face and be loud and say, look at me. And that's the greatest thing about him. To see the worry on his face of what his parents were going to say. I pulled over when he got pulled over, and it was just, to understand Tommy, it's something that will always stand out. He looked at me like my parents are going to kill me. Getting ready for the prom. We're out there, kids are all excited about the prom, 15 seniors, they should be. And literally, comes out that Tommy doesn't know how to dance. So we ended up taking about 10 minutes of practice down the right field line, and everybody's showing Tommy the dance. It's phenomenal. Imagine what the people on Bouquet Canyon were seeing. Then, in league that year, we were 14-1. The one game we lost was to Canyon. It was a 2-0 game. Honestly, it was played on a Saturday, because on Friday it got rained out. That worried me a little bit, because I had a group of kids who probably didn't spend Friday and Saturday nights in the library, if you know what I mean. So anyways, we lose that game 2-0 to a pitcher. Kid threw a pretty good game. Well, we go to the last game of the season, and we're going back to Canyon, the only loss we had. And again, it was reminded to the boys that, hey, this is a pitcher who beat you. This is your only loss. What does Tommy do? He goes out and throws, honestly, the greatest pitch game I've ever seen in my life. A 63-pitch perfect game. Okay, that means nobody reached base, nobody got a hit, and it took him only 63 pitches. I've never in my life seen a more dominating performance. And also in that game, he hits a home run. Tommy goes on. Oh, the last great thing was to know some of the coaches in this valley, and they're very, let's just say, confident in themselves. So going into these all-league meetings, you never know what's really going to happen. Our meeting happens to be at Valencia, and when I walk into the room, there's Tommy Milone written on the whiteboard. So I'm kind of giggling. So I sit down. I'm the new guy, and the coach stands up, who's leading the meeting, and says, if anybody doesn't think this is the greatest player in the league this year, or the greatest player this league's seen in a long time, you're all a bunch of idiots. Nobody had anything to say, and it went on. So for him to be recognized by all the other coaches, that was phenomenal. Again, a special individual. I remember his banquet senior year. As I went through, spoke about everybody, and Tommy comes up to accept his MVP award, I said we were in the presence of greatness. It was the only thing I kind of was like, wow, that was kind of weird that came out. I didn't plan on saying anything like that. But in reality, we were in the presence of greatness. And again, he's not here tonight. He's on his way flying up to Oakland because he gets to pitch tomorrow against the Baltimore Orioles in the middle of a pennant race. But truly, we are in the presence of greatness. And it's not so much from his performance on a baseball field, but it's the way he carries himself, the way he never has to be the center of attention, and the way that this guy cared so much about a lot of his friends that he grew up playing baseball with, and the way he treats everybody. It's just, that's what makes him great. Now back to that Major League debut. What people don't understand is before he got in that batter's box, he was told to bunt. All right? And right before he got in the batter's box, he backed out, and the coach came down the line and gave him this sign, which I mean, okay, you're allowed to swing away. That's step one that kind of sums up Tommy. He takes advantage of his opportunities. That was not supposed to happen. The kid, in reality, was all supposed to get that bunt down. What happens? He gets to see that first pitch and ends up 27th player in Major League history to hit a home run. Second, how he affects people. That place of 43,000 people came to their feet, yelling and screaming, and for some of them, it might be the greatest baseball memory that they ever had. So, again, how he affects others. And then finally, as he came in, all his teammates that he's probably known all of 12 hours, they're shoving him out so he can take a standing ovation. Tommy doesn't know what to do. He doesn't really want that. He literally stands up, tips his cap for a half a second, but really just like, hey, this is a great memory for me, but in reality, I appreciate everything that's happened. So, again, to sum up Tommy, he's a kid who just played to play. He just happens to be a Major League Baseball player at this time. And again, a guy who wanted to be with his buddies, loved playing the game, and I present you Tommy Milone.